people training and motivation. And that would include not just your animal clients, but your people clients, then your staff, and then your colleagues, and then yourself. Because when you're with animals, the person that needs the most training and the most motivation is yourself, because the danger of burnout is so colossal. If you don't have all these tricks to explain it to people, they don't do it. The job doesn't get done, and the dog can often end up in the shelter. And it does, it rips your heart out, and eventually you get burnt out, and you get mad with people. But you have to realize, I mean, I can see the person's point of view for two reasons. I'm very similar. I want it done yesterday. But also, I am an academic, and I'm very interested in how brains work. So Jamie's mum, she did research on what we call cognitive domains. So rather than saying someone's smart or stupid, which is what most people say, oh, the owner's really stupid, the owner's idiot, the owner's inhumane, they will describe an owner with one word. But let's just do the clever, stupid, like, binomial sort of interface. Mimi did this research on cognitive domains, and she found what she thought was a good selection of very smart people, Nobel Prize winners, of which we have a lot in Berkeley. I actually have 3 on my street. Can you believe that? And 2 houses down from me is Orlando Lawrence's house. He's dead. He split the atom. Yeah, just the little street I live on, it's had so many Nobel Prize winners, economists, chemists, physiologists. Anyway, so she interviewed Nobel Prize winners, and she asked them what, to most people, a man in a pub, would be a common sense question. Like one question I do remember, it was, you are driving. So this is 50 years ago, before cell phones. You are driving and your car stops suddenly. What do you do? Now, to a lot of Nobel Prize winners, they couldn't answer the question. They said, I don't know, walk, I guess. And they couldn't say things like check the fuel gauge, check the fuse, go and knock on a house and call AAA. I'm being serious here. And so what was a downright, absolutely common sense question for a good 90%, 99% of the population, for someone who was totally cerebral, it floored them. And so they came up with this idea of what we have in our brain of various cognitive domains. And we can be smart or dumb, depending on the domain. So I actually am pretty smart at a lot of things, but I have a couple of real severe cognitive domains. And one is learning a new computer program or having a device with lots of buttons on it. And I actually, as I got older, you get more stressed, you get older. When I was driving on my lecture gigs, I used to pray there wasn't a toll booth, because it was beginning to frighten the living daylights out of me. I would come up, loads of cars behind me, and here's a thing that has buttons on, and I don't have change, and my credit card's in my wallet. I mean, what do I do? And everyone's honking, and I would panic, And then I talked to some New Yorkers, oh, just drive through, they'll get you if they want the money, whatever. But it had buttons, and it fuses my brain. That's why I understand dog owners. It's a dog, because what are the things that commonly fuse people's brains? Well, it's technology, cars, listening, and training dogs. It's amazing. When you look at the people you have in your class, and I've had Nobel Prize winners in class, I've had lots of psychology professors, and they're like, well, here's my classic. Oh, this is my all-time classic. We'll end on this, actually, because I need to get another coffee and call Jamie. But this is the Jamie story. He says he went to a Montessori kindergarten class, right? And Susan, who ran it, who was wonderful at training the kids, I mean, stuff she could do. I went to pick up Jamie early one day, and she said, oh, Jenny, And she turned to a little girl and went like this. Now, this is a hand signal. It means rabbit ears. This little girl went to everyone, doing this, and it spread. This hand signal spread amongst like 24 children. And once they got the signal, they turned to someone and gave the signal and then ran to this little shed and sat in a semicircle on the floor, legs crossed, hands in their lap. And I thought, I've trained a lot of dogs in my life. I've trained cows, chickens, wild animals. That is the best training I've ever seen. 24 children with a single hand signal. And so anyway, Jamie says, Susan's got a puppy. I said, what'd she get, golden retriever? He said, yeah, how do you know? I said, I was just guessing, He says, she will come to puppy class. I said, good, then tell her I'll write a little coupon. So she comes to puppy class for free. And then Jamie said, do you think I could watch the class when we do it? Well, that was, I taught classes at 6, 7, 8, so ended at 9 and back home at 9:30. It was a little late for Jamie, but his teacher's in class and he loved us. I said, okay. So first week in class, they'd start off. So, right, everyone, before we let the puppies off leash, does anyone have any questions? And Susan put her hand up. And something inside me I felt mirth. I'm feeling a chuckle. I'm trying to keep a straight face, but I realized this is going to be really funny. How can a teacher with those skills have a question and we haven't even started the class? And I said, yes, Susan, what's your question? She said, yes, how can we stop the dog from jumping on the dining room table and running between the plates when we eat? And I'm like, how do you answer a question like that, right? And so I took a deep breath and I said, Susan, I have a question for you. And I found this a very useful ploy. Change the word dog to human, and they know the answer. So I said, Susan, how can I stop Jamie from climbing on the dining room table and stepping between the plates when we eat? And she said, well, tell him to get down. I said, or better yet? She said, well, don't let him get up. I said, or better yet? And eventually comes up with, why don't you tell him to sit on his chair? I said, yes. Why don't you tell your dog to lie down in its bed when you eat? But that's a great example of an extremely intelligent, talented person. You show them a puppy, poof. And that should be giving us compassion to work with the owner. They're not daft, they're not stupid, they're not an arsehole, they're not inhumane. They just don't know the better way that you know. And if you lord it over them, if you insult them, if you berate them, you are the one who's inhumane, because you just lost their puppy its education because you can't deal with the person. And that's why when you see me lecture, I'm so calm with trainers when I'm lecturing, because you've heard some of the questions I get asked. Why? I know if I belittle this person and say, well, you shouldn't be using a shock collar, I've lost my chance to educate them, to bring them over to my side, to show them what I think is a better way. And by better, meaning quicker, easier, more effective, more enjoyable. And I've lost the chance to change the lives for life of thousands of dogs a year. Yeah, that's what makes me really calm around trainers who are using techniques of which I totally disapprove. I just talk to them normally as a person. I debate it. I show them a better way, because they obviously don't know. And I really get upset when trainers disagree. And I find the ones that are holier than thou, totally positive. I knew them. I could name a dozen names now of people that you know, who you worship, who've written books, who are clever, creative, reward-based dog trainers, who, when they came to my class, they were jerking the living shit out of dogs. Well, I had the compassion and patience to deal with them. and show them a better way, which they grabbed like a convert. And I think it's that conversion which makes them maniacal about it. And now, sadly, intolerant of others, just like they were back then. And it's not doing dogs a favor. I consider that the most inhumane thing done in the world of animals, to be intolerant of others in your profession, not doing it the way you think is better, for you not to teach them. And I've heard some of these trainers say, and some, my students, that they say, you know, go off, join your own group. We don't want you here. They actually say it. It's like, you know, why can't you practice what you preach, what you profess to be as a totally positive trainer of puppies, and be a totally positive trainer of people, especially children, especially men? You can do it. And if you can do it, you can be a better dog trainer, because if you can't train people, you're going to be a crappy dog trainer. Yes, you can train a dog for yourself, but you obviously can't teach people to train dogs, because all you can talk to is, you can only preach to the choir, your little band of dog trainers, which are only totally positive, so they're ignoring all the problems. They're not correcting the problems, which are really frustrating and angering the owners, and will cause the dog to go to a shelter, and if it gets adopted, to come back again for readoption and eventually probably end up getting euthanized. It's they that are killing the dogs. So I find it very sad. And it's why I've always engaged people, and I tell them, if you disagree with what I say, tell me. We'll chat about it now. If you're embarrassed about disagreeing, buy me a beer. We can chat in the bar. And I never go to bed. You ask Joel Walton. He probably has attended more of my seminars than anyone on this planet. And Joel, he witnessed one conversation, started about 7 in the bar, ended at 3. I wasn't going to leave until this person got it. She was a dog trainer. What happened after this? She was just a dog trainer. She went back and told the head trainer at her organization. The head trainer didn't understand it, and so contacted me. I explained it to her. She's very smart, and she got it. She changed the training program. She went to the director. This is a massive organization. Changed the training program, but an existing trainer wouldn't go along with it. So they split the training program into 2, on-leash obedience and puppy training. Their puppy school became biggest in the country, and it could have been biggest in the world. You know, at times it probably rivaled Sirius. You know, we're probably the biggest, because of one conversation in a bar, and then a second conversation. And it was the head trainer that showed the director. Then the director became a believer when he saw it before his eyes. And so, yeah, having patience, you can do more good. Always when you're dialoguing with people that don't get it and don't see it your way. Okay, well, I'm going to thank you, and then I'll thank all the mystery people out there. Don't know who you are yet. Hope you're enjoying this, and I enjoyed chatting to you all, even though I don't know who you are. So thank you, Ty. Good to spend time with you, and give Sura a hug from me.
Will do.
And until the next time.
All right. Thank you again.
Cheers.